what can you advise employers to do to avoid these mistakes in every process?
Okay, as you've just mentioned, recruitment is a process. So that means you have to take it step by step by step. Yeah. So first of all, as I said, the first step is knowing who your ideal candidate is. So for example, here you realize as an organization, you're in dire need of somebody who needs to collect your money out there. Maybe you have a lot of debt out there. So who is your ideal candidate here? Maybe you look for a debt collector, you want an accounts payable, or a credit controller. So once you've realized who you are looking for, the next step now is coming up with a job description for them. So in the job description, what do you need to indicate in that job description? Of course, you need the qualifications. You need to know this person, what skills do they also need in terms of years of experience. Are you looking for somebody who's senior, mid-level, or just a junior employee? Also, something else that people bypass in a job description, and it's very important, is location. You really need to tell this person who is applying, where is this job located? Because sometimes maybe somebody is based in Kisumu, the job is in Mombasa. Somebody doesn't want to relocate. Maybe they're not willing to at that point of their life. So make it, give as much information as you can to the applicant. At the same time, you're not just doing this for you as an employer, you're also doing this for the employee or the applicants, because you're both saving each other's time. You're also supposed to indicate the salary. It's also important. I know it's a very sensitive area. A lot of employers don't want to put it out there, but it saves you time, because imagine a job of maybe 150,000, and I'm a person, maybe this accountant role, you're looking for somebody, you want to pay them 150, and then the person who is applying is at 250,000. Why would they want to apply for a job that's paying them less than what they're getting? So here you find yourself, you're not only just saving your time, you're also saving, you're getting the right candidates to apply for that job. Now let's come to the third step. Here is, where are you advertising? You've come up with the job description, you've given the role, you've given the key roles and responsibilities, the key skills and the qualification. So you need to know where you're advertising this role. And here, what I mean by advertising is, you find a lot of employers doing what you call passive recruitment. In HR terms, or in other terms, this is where you depend on the job seeker to find you and not you looking for them. In terms of reaching out, what are the platforms are you using? Which avenues are you using? If you're going through social media, LinkedIn is a very good platform. It's one of the best known social media platforms for professionals. Yes. In terms of your website, how is your website? Does it have a wide audience? How many visitors do you get in your website? So that to make sure that if you're using your website, will it guarantee you the number of applicants you're looking for? So here what you can do, instead of just using a limited avenues, you can reach out to recruiters such as CSS. You can also reach out to professional bodies where they have these members registered and they have a number of them. So these are some of the avenues employers can also make use of. So then the next step here now is the interview itself. So I like categorizing interview into three. So you have, first of all, shortlisting, then you do the pre-screening, and then now the interview itself. So here, some of the mistakes you find people doing: how are you shortlisting your candidates? Are you shortlisting them in terms of the ones who meet the qualifications, the key skills that you need, the number of years of experience that you're looking for? In terms of also when you're shortlisting, how are you doing it? Because at times you find employers, you wait until the job the job advert expires, then you have over 100 or 200 plus applications. You don't know where to start. So do it, I always advise, do it periodically. When they come, just be shortlisting as they come. Then the next step is now the pre-screening, which is still under the interview process. So here, when you're pre-screening, I always say a pre-screening process is like a sieve. So here you're sieving out now the candidates you've shortlisted who will make it now for the interview. So how do you pre-screen? First of all, the first thing and the first step that you should always do when you're pre-screening, when you're calling, because it's a telephone interview, call the candidate, find out are they in a position to talk, because people always bypass that, and then you find somebody is not really in a good position to talk, then you maybe dismiss them, yet maybe they could have been fit, a qualified candidate. So always find out, is this candidate in a position to talk? After that, get to understand, what does the candidate do? Here, just get the basic or the key information that you need from the candidate in terms of maybe what have they studied. Get to know even the salary they're getting if it's needed, because at the end of the day, you also have a budget for the role you're looking for. If this person is getting more, you can disqualify them there if need be. You look at also maybe if you're looking for somebody who has maybe industrial or the industry experience, you also get to understand the candidate. You also look at, sometimes you pick up also on some soft skills. For example, let's say you're hiring a telesales person, and when you call them, how they answer their call, how they talk to you, you can already gauge if this person, I hire them as a telesales or a customer service person, how will they talk on the call with maybe my clients. Yes. So once you've pre-screened this candidate, the next step now is the interview. And with the interview, you must really prep the candidates. It's always good to prep the candidates. How do you prep the candidates? One, you call them. Again, you schedule an interview with them, because you don't also want to assume that the time you're free, the candidate is also free. So you call them, schedule a time, agree on a time, then follow up with an email. An email now can have more information about the interview, in terms of where will the interview be, what time, what are the documents you're required to carry when you come for this interview. In terms of even maybe you could tell them maybe it will be a panel interview, so that somebody also prepares, because panel interviews are nerve-wracking also. So you could also tell them what to expect sometimes in these interviews. Maybe they can be a practical for some. They could be maybe a case study. So it's good you give them as much information as you can. So after the interview is done, sometimes there's another interview. So this is like, you could have maybe an oral one, and then you have a test. As I've mentioned, nowadays employers, we are really encouraging them to do tests, because you find sometimes a candidate can write something on their CV, but when it comes to the practicality of it, can they really do it? In terms of, let's say, somebody like a software developer, can they be able to come up or develop that software that they've said on the CV they can do? An accountant, how are their Excel skills? You can always do tests before you bring this person maybe to the second interview, or maybe of giving them an offer. Test them also on their technical skills. You could also do personality tests, which are now tests also on the maybe soft skills of the person. Maybe it's a role that needs somebody who can be able to handle conflicts. How will you be able to tell this person can be able to handle conflict? You can do personality tests to tell you if this is the kind of candidate who can be able to handle such. Yes. So once you're done with the interview process, the next step now is you already know who you, maybe from the panel of the candidates you have, who you'll select. So what do you do with the candidates who don't pass the interview? You make sure you also give them feedback. And then now the candidates, or the candidate who you take, what is the next step? You also do something called background checks or reference checks on them. It's always prudent. You need to get as much information as you can about the candidate. Because on one end, the candidate already knows about your organization, but you rarely know a lot about them. So it's always prudent. Go back to the candidate's previous experiences. Get to know how were they as an employee. What were some of the reasons they left the organization, so that you try and to have as much information as you can about the candidate before you onboard them. Then after you've done the background checks and everything comes out good and clean, now you can bring the candidate on board. So how do you bring the candidate on board? First of all, make sure that you give them an offer or a contract. this is very important because you two need to know your obligations to each other. You know, it's not just about the employer, it's also about the employee. The employee needs to also see what am I getting so that I can say yes to this offer. Because in real sense, no one wants to be in a job for 1 year. You want to be there for a few years. Okay, so it is important that you give them a contract and a contract that is adheres to the labor laws in Kenya. Yes. Now, after you've given them a contract, now is inducting them. You need to induct them. Don't just bring somebody and don't take them through an induction process. I always say, imagine if you enter the room and everyone there knows each other. Yeah. You're the only one who doesn't know. Everyone is conversing. Yeah. Everyone is. What will happen to you? You know, you'll find yourself like a tortoise, you know, cocooning yourself in a shell. So it's good you take the person through, like, this is where you'll sit. This is your, you know, your tools for work. This is going to be even some. Go ahead, even give a person a mentor or a buddy who will show them how to go about the daily duties. Yeah. Yes. Then after that, I believe you're good to go. Yes. Yeah. So apart from that, the other key thing is in terms of the salary and the qualifications. And as I mentioned, this is a very let me call it a very touchy area or a very sensitive area. Everyone wants a qualified person, but at times, organizations do have budgets for this role. So you have to also be realistic with your demands or whatever you want. Because you can't say you want somebody who has maybe 10, 12, 20 years experience, and then you want to pay them maybe a salary of somebody who's maybe in a mid-level. It won't work. This person won't even stay there for long because they'll always be looking for jobs out there that they feel that meet their qualifications. True. Yes.
Okay, that's really, really detailed. I love that you've gone through every step and the mistakes that employers make in every step and what they can actually do about it. That's really detailed, and thank you so much for making time to do this with me today.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia.
All right. Thank you for watching this video. As you've had throughout the recruitment process, there are different steps that you need to get right. If you feel like you have a gap in your organization, whether you want to replace an employee or you're looking for a new employee for a certain role, we are here to help. We are a recruitment agency in Kenya, and we will be happy to help you throughout the recruitment process and save you time so that you can be able to focus on your business. If you want more information on our recruitment process, please click on the link below. And one of the recruiters, like Natalia, will reach out and take you through our processes. Thank you so much. We hope to see you and request our services, and we'll be happy to help. See you next time.